Kia ora koutou. In this video lesson, we're going to be talking about the parts needed to achieve on Internal Achievement Standard 3.9 bivariate data. So let's have a look here at these are the 7 requirements that you need to achieve, starting with an appropriate investigative question. Now that investigative question is going to come from our variables. The one we're going to be doing right now is around wine consumption and heart disease. So that's going to be my investigative question. I wonder if there's a relationship between wine consumption per capita and heart disease deaths. For our second part, we want a scatter graph with the title. Now, the scatter graph is going to be our graph type. Our variable 1 is the one that does the influencing. I think wine consumption might have an influence on heart disease deaths. Now, you want your graph title to be better than the words graph title, so we're just going to use what is on the x-axis, wine consumption versus heart disease. And then you just got to click on update graph. Okay, so there would be our scatter graph. You would add that in for number 2. Third, identify features in the data, trend, association, and relationship. So looking at our scatter plot, we can see that the trend is linear because the data points go in roughly a straight line. If the data points curved, it'd be nonlinear. The association is negative because the data points go down to the right, meaning as wine consumption per capita increases, heart disease goes down. This might suggest that some wine might be good for the heart, and those kind of comments are going to be needed for higher levels of achievement. Found an appropriate model. That appropriate model is going to come right up here. The heart disease deaths equals negative 1.5729 times the wine consumption. That little asterisk means multiply, plus 1.6. So that is your appropriate model you're going to use. Nature of the strength in relationship in context. So once again, we have a linear trend, negative association, and a weak relationship because the data points, that one's really far away. Most of the data points are fairly far from the regression line, and this is supported by the R value of negative 0.34. And the last part, using your model to make a prediction. What we're going to do there is we don't have any data on 10 liters. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 10, put it in for wine consumption. So 10 times negative 1.5729 would be negative 15.729, plus the 160 is about 145. So if you were to put that 10 in, up to the red line, and over, that's right around 145. But you're going to want to show all of the calculations, which is again 10 times negative 1.57 plus 160. And that's going to be your prediction for a wine consumption of 10 liters. You would get heart disease deaths out of 100,000 people of about 145. Last part is just to summarize all of that in a conclusion. By that, I mean you're going to repeat what you said before, that for wine consumption versus heart disease, we have a linear trend that is negative and weak, okay? As far as getting it up to merit goes, you want justification. So anytime you say anything, back it up with why. All right, let me know if you have any patai for that, but there is bivariate in a nutshell at the achieved level. Thanks for watching. Maori mahi, Maori ora, ka kite anō.